I won't hesitate to blame my age for this uncomfortable feeling that I'm having. Let's see if it goes. I think it should go. Yeah. Come on, good job. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is the biggest Royal Enfield available on sale across the globe as of today. This is the Super Meteor 650. This is the elder sibling to the Meteor 350 that they launched sometime back, and this was actually released last year. I think it was in November 2022 during the Motoverse event is when they launched it, and it's been almost a year now with this motorcycle. And yeah, here are a couple of things that I would want you to notice as a long-term ownership, you know, whatever experience. I won't call it a review, but then yeah, this is mostly about the bike itself, how the bike is and what it feels, the positive points, what the negatives. So let's get going with this motorcycle for now. I stopped at a gas station here because I just refueled the bike. So let's get going. So here is the first thing. You heard my voice, right? So that is the first thing on this motorcycle, which is not very comfortable. It may be a little bit, you know, bothersome for some people, because see, this is a low slung motorcycle. It's a cruiser, right? And when manufacturers are making cruiser, they do not have a lot of room in terms of the suspension travel to play around with. And so because of that, the suspension on this thing, the travel is very limited. The suspension unit itself, the rear shock absorber, it itself is like quite small, and because of that, each time you go over a speed breaker or any undulation on the road, the bike quite literally throws you off, and that is a little bit cumbersome. Right now I'm riding alone. I'm not with a passenger or any luggage at all, so I can actually feel that bouncing nature a little bit, because it's a little bit exaggerated. In case if you have a passenger or maybe some luggage, that is a little bit negated to a certain extent, but you do feel that bounce. And the next problem is right here, turning. Because this is a big motorcycle, it has a long wheelbase, being a cruiser, you know, taking tighter U-turns is a little bit cumbersome. I mean, at times if you have to take a tight U-turn, let's say you are in a small lane or someplace, that time it won't even be a 3-point turn, it would be like a 6 or 7-point turn. You have to take the bike front, bring it back, take it front, bring it back, and that's how you can make a turn. But the good thing is that although this weighs nearly 240 plus kilos, you do not feel the weight unless you are trying to, you know, push it on an incline. On a flat roads like this, now let us say if I stop somewhere here and if I need to make a U-turn, although I have to take the bike front and back a couple of times, but the weight is quite well masked, and that primarily comes down to the fact that it is very low slung. You know, this motorcycle, the ground clearance of this Super Meteor 650 is only 135 millimeters, so it sits quite low to the ground. This is where you will have to be a little bit careful. But although, you know, on papers the ground clearance, the number seems quite small. Now let's say my Ninja is about 140 mm. That's the ground clearance on the Ninja, but then the Ninja hits almost everywhere. This thing, surprisingly, it has not hit anywhere apart from the nastiest speed breakers that we have at some places in Bangalore. This thing has never hit, and I was really worried when I took this bike for the first time. I was that the main concern on my head was that it sits so low. I think it's going to scrape its bottom everywhere, but it did not. And the next thing is that, you know, I am a short rider. I am 5'8". I am not tall, and because of that, and because of this front, you know, the forward set foot peg design as it's a cruiser, my legs are stretched quite a bit, and I do feel a little bit of pain on my thighs. And I do not know if that's only me, because I'm getting older now. I'm nearly 40, another month and I'll be 40 years old. So I won't hesitate to blame my age for this uncomfortable feeling that I'm having. But probably it's only me. It could be a problem with others as well, I'm not sure. But then if you're a taller rider, then you should not have a problem, because your knees will be quite folded, right? Your legs will be quite folded here. Mine, you know, as you can see, it's like quite literally stretched towards the front. And now we are in this small gap. Let's see if the bike goes in this gap. I am a little bit scared of taking. That's a new car. Let's see if it goes. I think it should go. Yeah. Come on, good job. Dude, don't throw garbage. I'm surprised that this being such a big bike, it went through that tiny gap. So we have a traffic light here and we will have to make a U-turn. It's not going to be a tight U-turn, but let us see if the bike allows us to execute the U-turn without keeping the feet on the ground, and yes, it did. So this engine, it's a familiar one. It is there on the Interceptor 650. We have seen it on the Continental GT 650. And this is butter smooth. It's quite literally butter smooth, and the 270-degree firing order, that gives that beautiful sound to the exhaust that you would normally associate with the Royal Enfield products, right? Although, I mean, it's not with the exact state of tune. Royal Enfield has done some modifications. Yes, the engine does have a slightly different state of tune. The chassis is slightly different as well compared to the Interceptor or the Continental GT 650, and that is primarily done to accommodate this stretched out format, this front, you know, the front suspension which just stretches out and give it this whole cruiser design. That is why the suspension and the entire chassis is tuned slightly differently. But the way it is extremely comfortable. It's very, very confidence inspiring. Many people have complained about the seat, saying that you need to get the touring seat. I have not really felt the need of buying the touring seat accessory. I have been riding this with the stock seat itself, and I have never had any problem whatsoever, because even after completing nearly 400-500 kilometers a day on this bike, the seat has never let my butt sore. That's one good thing. Maybe people do want the touring seat, maybe that is slightly more comfortable, but as it is the stock seat, I have never felt any problem with this. For me, I prefer hard seats, because almost all the motorcycles that I have ridden or I have owned until today, I have always preferred the hard foam on the seats. And the goodies that come on this motorcycle, like this has the LED headlight. That's something new that Royal Enfield did with this. It has the upside down show up big piston forks at the front. Again, that was a first on this motorcycle from Royal Enfield stable. And then the main talking point of this bike is the brakes. So on the front you have a 320mm rotor, on the rear you have a 300mm, and both are two piston calipers. And for stopping this mammoth, weighing 240 plus kilos, the brakes do a fabulous job. It inspires a lot of confidence. Now let's say we are at almost 80 kilometers per hour. If I need to brake, I can brake hard. The dual channel ABS does its job. There is no lockup at the rear wheel. And then the slipper clutch as well. I mean, on this format you don't really need to use the slipper clutch, because again, that is for faster downshifting, and I don't see a reason where you would actually fast downshift a cruiser, that to something which is as huge as this. And then comes the tripper pod. So this thing works seamlessly. It is very seamless. So it connects immediately with your phone on the app that you have, and then it works quite well. I have at a couple of instances wherein I have actually run out of the cellular network is when I have faced a problem. Otherwise, I have never faced any issue with this, right? And then other points like, let's say, the fogging of instrument console or fogging of let's say the turn signals or the headlight, those issues are not there on this bike. I know that I had those issues on my Interceptor when I owned it previously, but those are not there on this bike. So overall, it's a fabulous product. I mean, the moment you sit on it, the moment you ride it, you won't really feel that it's a Royal Enfield, considering that you have been owning Royal Enfield from the past, and you know a little bit about their history, the kind of products they used to make and what they are making now. The difference is literally night and day. Now let me show you what that going front and back is what I was talking about. Now see, the road is empty, that's why I could make this tighter turn. Otherwise I would have literally struggled to make that turn. So the build quality is fabulous. I mean, the switch gear, of course, yeah, over a period of time, you know, the switch gear color has just faded away. It used to be like dark red, now it's completely faded because this bike keeps standing in sunlight or literally all day long, and because of that the color has faded away a little bit. Otherwise there are no quality issues. The levers, both the clutch lever and the brake lever, they are adjustable for reach, and as I'm a short person, I have shorter hands, I have shorter fingers. I have never felt a problem of adjusting it. The levers are well within the reach. Should you consider buying one? Of course yes. I mean, if you are into the market for an easy-going cruiser motorcycle, you plan to go with your passenger, you plan to carry your luggage and stuff, and you're not somebody who goes into, you know, B roads or broken roads or, you know, country roads a lot, you are definitely going to enjoy this motorcycle. It's premium, it does feel premium, and it does exactly what it is designed to do. There is decent grip from the tires, and as I said, the brakes are confidence inspiring. They're pretty good. The tripper instrumentation works well. There is no problem of fogging on the instrumentation after you ride the bike, you know, let's say in rain or you wash the bike or something. The only issue is this, the suspension. But then yeah, if you take it gently, or let's say we have a suspension, you have a speed breaker here. If I take it gently, I do not feel anything, right? So you can overcome that. It's just that if you are a little bit aggressive over the speed breakers, the bike will throw you off. Otherwise, no issues. This comes in 3 models. This is the base model, so this does not get your passenger backrest. It does not have your front windscreen either, or any of those fancy bits. But I mean, as it is quite good. And would I recommend you buying the top of the line variant? No, not really. You can buy the, you know, base variant, and you can probably equip it with, let's say, if you want a passenger backrest, you can do it with that, or if you want, you know, the windscreen, you can use that. But yeah, you can go with the base version and it would be pretty good. You would be happy with that. So I hope that this video comes out to be of some help, and I'll see you guys again in another one. Until then, stay safe, ride safe, and God bless you all. Bye bye.